Welcome back to another video. This is one of the lab videos in the series, 3.6, Route Manipulation for EIGRP. Now this is the topology based out of the examples shown in video 3.4, which was the route manipulation theory. So I've duplicated the topology here, and we'll actually go through and configure it. So what I've done is just done a basic config. So I've got IP route. So I've got named version of EIGRP set up, routing our topology together. So in the example, it shows you the routing tables for routers 2 and 4. So we see here router 2, and just come back down into the topology there. So we've got 1 and 3 coming into 2, and so if we reside that up there, so 2 sees the 10, 100 and 200 routes, and router 3 100 and 200 routes, and the 172.16s are all there as well. So what we will now do to start off with is a filter. So we'll do a distribution list based on an ACL. So the first thing we'll do is set up a access list, and we'll make it a standard. We'll call it filter, and we're filtering the 100.x. So that's the name of our filter, and we're going to deny that network, that 10, 1, 100, 0 network, and we're going to permit any other network to come in, and we want to go to router EIGRP advanced EIGRP -lab. Really should have shortened that name. And it's going to be address family IPv4 unicast auto 10, and we want to go into the topology base, and we want to put distribution list. Sorry about that. Just had somebody sneaking up behind me. So we want to put the filter name in, which is filter -10.1.100.x, and we want to filter it coming in. And guess what? That's as complex as it gets. So if we now do a show IP route, now that the configuration has resynced, we have lost the 1-100 network from our routing table. because it's been filtered out. Now, the other item we went through for filtering was IP prefix lists. So again, we'll do this on the 3100. So the command is IP prefix list filter 10.3.100.x. Be right if I could type. And we want to deny the 10.3.100/024, and we basically want to repeat all of that again, but this time we're going to permit everything else. So quad 0/0 and then length of 32. So there's the prefix length. So we're denying the 10.3.100.0 and then permitting everything else. And again, we go into the router command. So I'm just going up through the command history and the auto auto 10. Okay, so we now want to go into topology base. Always with the typos. So the topology base, and again we want to go into distribution list, and this time we're going to say it's prefix. And if we just come up here and highlight that and then right click, there it is, there's our prefix list. And we're going to filter this outbound from router 2 towards router 4. So let's quickly jump over the router 4 and do a show IP route, and you can see that the 3100 is here currently. So back to router 2, and what we have now is that filter applied, and there's our configuration change. Jump across the router 4, do the IP route command again, and our 3100 network is no longer there. So there it is there, and now it's gone. So the prefix list has worked. Now, the last bit of that manipulation, if we get out of that, do a bit of clear screen space. So we've done filtering based on an ACL or an IP prefix list. So that was two of the ones. The other ones were route maps and things like that, which is we'll touch on later on as it comes up again. The other main topic in that presentation was the manipulation of the metric. So if we look at the commands for the offset, we need to create a ACL for it. So if you went back and actually watched the presentation again and wrote down the commands, you'll see these in here. So standard, and what we call it, offset. Which one are we going to offset to 100? 100.x, and for this we're going to permit the 10.100.0. Is that the correct one to offset though? Because isn't that the one we filtered? It is the one we filtered. We should really call this a 200. Oh, too late for the name change, unless we do that. Yeah. And then we go permit the 10.1.200.0, and then we'll have to go back into that lovely router EIGRP advanced. So we scroll up a few lines. So there's the router EIGRP. Then we want to do the auto address family, auto 10, and again into the topology base, and then we want to put the offset list, and the list name is right there for us. Oi. And we want it coming inbound, and we're going to put 200,000 onto it, and the interface it's coming in on is G01. So we end that, and now do a show run. On command, show IP route is what I want. So the 1-200 is now got a 16,922 cost instead of 15,360. So if we play around with that figure, you'll get a different value. So if we scroll back through the history, 1-200 was 15,360. Now it's 16,922. And let's check to make sure I put enough zeros in the offset command. 200,000. So it's not really the offset I was expecting, because that's only fraction high, but it did modify it. Alright, so relatively short and sweet one. Thank you for joining me for EIGR route manipulation. And if we jump over the router 4, do an update on, you'll notice that it's added that cost to the metric there, so it is fractionally higher as it goes all the way through after the offset's been applied. So on that note, I'll say thank you for joining me. Do the usual like, subscribe and all that lovely guff if you enjoyed the video. And for now, it's bye for me. Until next time.